Understanding subtraction as a sum, helping students see how subtracting number is the same as adding its additive inverse. In the previous video, I used this analogy of sand and holes of sand to help us sort of visualize and understand what's going on with integers. So I'm just going to review that idea, but to get a full sense of it, watch the previous video. So I've got one pile of sand up here, and I've got a hole here. And I know that if I take a pile of sand and I put it in the hole, I can physically see that it creates a value of 0. If I continue with this idea of the analogy of the sand, I'm going to create my 5 piles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's telling me that I want to take 3 piles away. So if I want to think about subtraction as an addition problem, I need to think about 5, and I need to add something that is going to allow me to take 3 piles away. And the way that I can do that is by adding 3 negative piles. So if I add those holes, those piles in there, then I'm able to fill those holes with my piles that I have in order to make those 0. And I can see that I end up with 1, 2, 2 piles. And since they're piles, I give them a value of a positive. When I see a subtraction problem, I can think of it as an addition problem. I can take that negative, that 5 minus a 3. I can take that subtraction, that difference, change it into a positive, but I need to think about, well, if I'm going to change it into a positive, how am I still going to get that same end result? And I would have to add in a negative 3. I can take that same line of thinking to apply it to an equation of a difference when I'm taking away a negative number. So I'm thinking to myself, I have 5, and I need to take away a negative 3. Well, how do I take away a negative 3? I'm going to draw my negative 3 as my holes. And the only way that I can take it away is if I added piles to fill those holes. So now I've gone and I've added 3 piles in order to take away those 3 holes. So if I use this logic in thinking, I have to think to myself, well, then that taking away a negative 3 is the same as if I'm adding a positive 3. Now if I look at my full equation, I can take my positive 5 that I initially had, and if I need to eliminate 3, take away a negative 3, that means that I had to add 3 more. So I can think of 5, and that difference, 5 take away a negative 3, as 5, and then adding those extra 3 that I needed to add to be able to take away the negative 3's. So in the end, I can see that I end up with a positive 8. So when we're looking at the difference and we're looking at this understanding in our cusp, we can see that the difference of any 2 numbers can be interpreted as a sum. Thanks for joining me today.